One of the biggest challenges when it comes to improving your putting is finding time to practice and actually get on a green where you can start to develop your skills. You can quite easily get to a driving range to hit some golf balls, but actually getting on a green, testing out your stroke, working on your pace control and improving your green reading is quite a tough challenge. So I think there's lots of things you can take from the typical warm-up that a tour player might use before they go to play a round. Now, this will take 15 minutes, probably 20 minutes absolutely maximum. So I'd like to think maybe once a week if you're playing, you could try to find that time. And I would divide that 15 minutes down into 3 small blocks. So the first block we've got here is just starting some putts online. If you use any training aids, a putting mirror, a string line or a template to work on arc or whatever it may be, this will be the time to use it. And if you don't, just finding a straight putt can give you a really good boost of confidence to see the ball rolling end over end, starting down the line you've picked and travelling towards the hole. So I found myself a straight 5 or 6 foot putt here. And I'd encourage you when you're hitting these to go through your full routine. So I'm going to line the ball up there, treat it as if it's a putt on the golf course, and just go through that process of getting myself set, starting to feel the ball come off the putter face, get it running down the target line towards the hole. So okay, I've pushed that one a little bit there, which is fine. Remember, you're using this as a warm-up and a chance to understand how your stroke's working on a given day. So again, we'll reset ourselves. I've got my line on the ball there, back in, hit the putt. Okay, just on the right edge, that's fine. And we'll come in on the third one here. Again, I'm not going to panic too much because I've missed 2 putts. I'm going to check my line, so I've overcorrected there and aimed that a little bit too far left. We'll get that straight, putter back in behind the ball and up towards the hole. Now that would be, this first 5 minutes would be where you're working on your stroke mechanics and just getting your putting going. It's putting's version of the initial warm-up. We're going to move on to the second step now, which will start to introduce a little bit of variability. So we've just spent 5 minutes warming up our stroke on a straight putt, seeing the ball roll end over end, building a bit of confidence so we can knock in those 4 or 5 foot putts when we get to the first green. We're now going to introduce a little bit of lag putting. So I'm stood by a hole here, I've got 3 golf balls. I'm going to take 3 large steps away from the hole and drop a ball. That'll be about 10 feet. 3 more big steps, drop a ball, that'll be about 20. And 3 more, and I'm now down 30 feet away from my hole. Now the putt I've got here is ever so slightly up the hill, and really the aim here is just to get a little bit of feel for the speed of the greens for the given day. It's ever changing when you go to play. Even if you play at the same course every week, the greens won't be identical every Saturday morning when you tee it up. So we want to give ourselves the best chance when we get to the first green of hitting that 30 foot putt as close as possible. So we'll get into the putt here. I'm going to make sure I have plenty of looks at the hole. The aim here will be to try and get the ball inside 3 feet. So trying to get it up there inside 10% of the putt's length, which I've done a pretty good job of. That's maybe 2.5 feet away. I'll now walk forward to the second ball. I'll just move it over to the side here, so I've got a route up. Now, because I'm now 10 feet closer, it's forcing me to adjust. And this is great for when it gets out onto the golf course. So again, 20 feet there, rolled it up nice and close. That would be happy with that one. Third putt now, 10 feet. We're going to come into the ball. Again, lots of looks at the hole. Roll the ball up there. Okay, it's just hit that other ball on the way up, but probably would have been a hole high. So once we've hit these 3 putts, before we now repeat this, but downhill, so again, we'd go to a hole, we'd go 3, 6 and 9 paces, but face ourselves with a downhill putt. We're just going to spread these balls around the hole here, and we'll start the first one at about a putter length, and then we'll just arc them ever so slightly, so the putt's increasing in length. So I've roughly now got a 3 foot, a 4 foot and a 5 foot putt. These ones here are all slightly up the hill and slightly left to right. So when I repeat this on my downhill putts in a moment, I'll try to move these balls out to 3, 4 and 5 feet, maybe right to left. So I've covered off as many bases as possible, and I think that's important. You don't know what putt you're going to be faced with when you get to the first green. So the more opportunity we have on the practice greens to hit as many different putts as possible, I think we increase the chance of holding putts when we get out onto the course. The third part is going to be to introduce 1 ball, and we'll take you into that now. The final piece of preparation involves moving down to 1 golf ball and simulating exactly what's about to happen on the golf course. Loads of people will tell me that they come in after the round and it took them 4 or 5 holes to get the speed of the greens or to feel like they've got their putting going. Well, hopefully the warm-up exercises we've done already, holding some short 5 footers and then a bit of lag putting followed by some holing out, has started to prime us for what we're about to do. But actually just playing 9 holes on the putting green can be a great way to really get you into the flow of putting before you have to hit a putt on the first green. So the aim would be to hit 3 putts of less than 10 feet, 3 putts of 10 to 30 feet, and I've got maybe a 20 footer here. and then 3 putts from 30 feet plus. And the aim would be to go full routine, to read them, to hold them out, to really try and get into that process of simulating what's about to happen on the golf course. So as I said, I've already read this part. I'm going to get into my routine. So part of that for me would be lining up the golf ball, and I'll get my ball there about a foot and a half maybe off the left. It's a reasonable amount of slope there. Again, we'll come into the putt. So anything you would do on the course we want you to do now. So I would take a couple of practice strokes looking at the hole, trying to get a gauge for speed. Coming into the golf ball there, matching up my putter. So I'm happy with my aim. One last look at the hole for pace, and then back to the ball. And we'll hit the putt down there. Slightly under hit it, knocked it down close enough though. It's a pretty tricky downhill putt, so I wouldn't be completely heartbroken with that as an outcome. And as I say, the next 8 putts you're going to hit are all going to be slightly different. Try to change the slope, try to vary the length a little bit from putt to putt. Give yourself that best opportunity that when you get onto the golf course, you've hit enough putts on the practice screen that whatever you face on the first, you've hit something similar to it before you've teed off. Give this drill a go. I think in terms of spending 10 to 15 minutes before you play, this is the best way you can do it, and it should prepare you for what's about to happen when you get to the first. Head over to Golf Prize YouTube channel where you can find this tip along with a variety of tips to help you improve your putting next time you play.